Well, I think I'm awfully proud of our kids. Um, Again, y'all have no idea how hard it is to be where they are today at 20-0, and I'm really proud for them. I hope they're having a heck of an off day. They deserve it. Um, we had a tough game last night with Alabama. Really didn't play that well the first half, and came out in the third quarter. And I thought after the first, I guess Carly told me this morning we had turnovers in 5 of our first 7 possessions. But then after that, got the press going and made some really good decisions and executed offensively. So um, really proud of our crowd last night, y'all. We had probably 1,000, 1,500 people there at least. Mississippi State folks that drove over in some not so good weather and really made it a great atmosphere for our kids on the road. So again, that's part of building the program, and so we're on to obviously a big one on Monday night, and excited about that opportunity. If you're a competitor, um, you love having these opportunities. Going against one of the best teams in the country, tremendous coach, tremendous coaching staff, um, but just a team that's played well all year long. Really very similar to us in that they've had some of this team together for a while, and other pieces of it is new and have really added to that. And so it's some ways we've got some similarities there, and but they're just so talented and again so well coached, disciplined. Um, it's going to be a tremendous challenge for us going in there. There'll be 15, 16,000 people in there hanging from the rafters, and there won't be any of them hollering for us. But again, as a competitor, that's what these are opportunities that you embrace, and it's why you play the game. And so I'm excited as a coach. I know Johnnie is, our staff. I know our players are excited about having that opportunity, and hopefully our time on the road this year, as well as in years past with our seniors, have prepared us for this opportunity.
How much does the challenge of being at this point in uncharted territory in terms of ranking and winning streak, in where you are in the season, late January, the fatigue, you're going to have to, what's the challenge of pushing through that, and you've got that ever-growing bullseye on your back too?
Well, I tell you, I don't. I think now, because of what we've done, the experience that we've had, um, I think we're growing. I think we're getting more comfortable with where we're at. I think in the position we're in. I thought last night we were tight the first half, but in the third quarter I thought we turned it loose. And so I think there's a little bit of a growing accustomed. I wouldn't say we're comfortable yet, but look, the bottom line is if we go in there all tied up Monday night, it's going to be ugly. We're going to have to go in there and turn it loose and relax and play and enjoy the opportunity. I know I am as a coach. Enjoy the opportunity that's in front of us, and just embrace it and do our very best. Just do what we do. Do the best you can. Do your job, but know that that's enough. And but I mean, we've now been in the hunted role for a while, Adam. So I think we're getting a little bit more accustomed to that.
Or do you consider yourself the hunted when you go to Columbia on Monday?
I don't know how. I don't know the answer to that. I think we're probably both right there. I think rankings, we're pretty much similar. So I think at that point, they're the home team. In my mind, the home team always has the advantage, and they're certainly going to have a tremendous advantage being at home. And so I think for us, we'll go in there with a hunting mentality. We'll be going in there with a little bit of a back to the kind of where we were those first few years, where we're doing the hunting, and we're trying to have that type of mindset.
Probably from their fans, the 15,000 that will be there, they'll see, your ranking, and there might be a little different there. How do you prepare the group for going into a hostile environment? They've played in front of tens of thousands, but not when those tens of thousands are screaming against them. How do you kind of prepare for that moment when it's going to probably be a little different with the number 4 than 10, 15, 10, somewhere around there even?
Right. Well, again, I think the 20-0 is even different than the 4, and so I think that always gives your opponent extra incentive. And I think that's what we're running into right now with everybody we play, is that it's the 20-0, and we want to be the first one to hang a 1 on there. But I think for both us and South Carolina, I think we're both past that. What we're in there trying to do is we're trying to win a championship. And this game's gonna go a long way in maybe deciding that. So it certainly isn't the end all, but this is the only time we play each other this year in the regular season. So I think I know for us, we're more about trying to go on the road, beat a top 5 team in the country, and beat a team that's picked in front of us in the SEC. They were picked in front of us, and so that's our challenge. We've played in front of some pretty hostile places and responded pretty well. So I'm hoping we can draw from that. But I know this, I've been in that arena, and it gets really loud. And, we're going to have to do a good job of trying to manage that.
Johnnie, I know you do most of the scouting, and you've seen South Carolina 20 the last few years and this year as well. How do you feel like your bigs match up with theirs, especially with Tierra having another year and Chinway kind of progressing now? How do you feel like your girls are starting to match up with their size and length?
I think, even playing them last year gave them a little confidence. So, but the one thing about our girls is they won't back down. So we just expect them to go in and compete and battle and just see where it takes us. I think they'll be ready. They'll step up for that challenge.
What can you learn from a game like this about your team?
Man, I feel like I know my team pretty well. I don't know what's left to learn with this group. I think the exciting thing for me is I love watching my kids play. I love watching them compete. I love watching them go into an environment. I love seeing them respond in tough situations. And like Johnnie just said, I'll be shocked if our kids aren't dialed in. And I think that has to do with the respect that they have for South Carolina. I know it has to do with us. We respect them tremendously, but I also think that our kids have confidence. We've played them last year very well. Here in the conference tournament, we really felt like they kind of got after us and caused us some problems. We turned the ball over. They had a lot of stuff in transition, a bunch of layups, and that really is how the game got away from us. And it was their aggression versus our non-aggression, which is typically not how we are. So I just love watching our kids in this kind of environment because I like to see that competitive spirit. And you guys know we've got a competitive spirit with this group.
Coach, you mentioned last night that you didn't feel like you had done a good job at times coaching this bunch this year. It didn't go into much detail last night. Well, what do you think? What areas do you feel like you could do a better job at coaching a team that's 20-0, number 4 in the country?
Well, I think winning masks your problems. I think when you're winning, it can really, you can call it fool's gold, you can say it's masking, whatever, but I know what this team's potential is. We just got finished having a staff meeting, and, we're 20-0, but I'm thinking big picture. I'm thinking let's reach our full potential. I want these kids to reach their full potential. Don't want them to settle. And you can't come out and play like we're playing sometimes against the South Carolinas of the world and win. And that's what I want. That's what we want as parents. We want our kids to be successful. We want what's best for them, and that's what we want as coaches. We want what's best for these kids. We want them to reach and attain their full potential. And we've been doing it long enough. We know that we've still got a long way to go. And, and so when I say, hey, I got to do a better job of getting them dialed in and having them ready to play and so many other things. But, you know, there's not enough time in the day. You know, we're limited on hours per day, limited on hours per week, and these kids do a great job in the classroom. We want them to be students first, but we also want to try to win a championship or championships, so it's very, very difficult. But at the end of the day, whatever our shortcomings are, they fall on my shoulders, and that's what I want them to know and everybody to know. I mean, I'm in charge, and I don't want shortcomings. I want us to reach our full potential.
Seems like you're getting a lot of production out of Amisha, just kind of in limited minutes. Just how high is the ceiling for her?
Well, Johnny and I, we talked about it, our old staff talked about it again this morning. We just feel like that kid, all she needs is playing time, and she's going to really blossom. And, you know, she got some quality time last night, made a really big shot at the end of the half to put us up 8 on an out-of-bounds play where Bree set a great screen for her, and she came up, but she still had to make a difficult shot and made it. And hey, this kid is coachable. She wants to be coached. She's a great kid. And again, that's the piece that if you want to be coached, you want to be good, and you've got the skill set and the talent, the athleticism, the length, all the things that she possesses, man, you got a chance to be really good, and she does.
Vic, I know in previous years with this group growing up and being young, you weren't always sure what they bring. And even beginning of this year, you said you look good off the bus, but that doesn't mean you're going to look good in the court. You say you now know what this team is. When did you start knowing, when did this team's identity kind of start forming for you?
Oh, I mean, I think it's over time. We've been on the road so much together. You know, we see each other on the court, off the court. I just think it's like a family, you know. We're just really close. You know, it's not unlike a family in that, you know, you have your disagreements, you argue, but that's because you care. You know, there's feelings. People are emotionally invested, and so I think for us, with this group, I mean, these are some of the greatest kids I've ever been around. We love them to death. At the same time, just like any family with children, they challenge you in different areas, but that's the challenge of us as coaches. We're in the kid business. I say that all the time, but I think we've seen them in some difficult situations. You know, at Iowa State, USC, you know, even at ULR type ball game, and you've seen them respond in these times of crisis in a game, and so you develop that confidence, and so I'm excited about seeing them going to South Carolina and seeing how they're gonna play.
Johnny, kind of the same question for you. When did you see this team that you've seen for a couple of years now grow and kind of become the identity that you see now?
Well, I think we've been showing some toughness since that first tournament. This year, I mean, going to Villanova, we were really, you know, we really prepared for that. We didn't know how our kids would respond, and they went up there and played really well in that environment. And then, you know, then we went to Tulane, came back and played Texas, and I just think we played all those tough games early, and it just kept getting better. The chemistry kept getting better. The trust they have in each other, all the little things that they needed to, you know, prove to us that they could be that team that we thought they could be.
Johnny, kind of going off of what Coach Schaefer was talking about earlier, how hard is it to get a group of girls, as mature as they may be, to believe, hey, you're 20-0, fourth in the country, but they're still improving to do? Is that a tough task, and how do you go about making sure they understand that? You know,
we have to, you know, personally, I try to show them everything that I tell them. Everything that we're trying to teach them, I try to show them working hard, being a professional, doing extra. They see it every day in our staff. Like, they know what it looked like. So we try to prepare them by being examples, but also, you know, being ready, you know, making sure they're ready, doing the little things. So I just think we try to make sure they feed off of us.
Coach Harris, Coach Schaefer said after the game last night that Amisha does have so much potential, but that she needs to work on the defensive end and trying to keep her player in front of her, because she got beat on a couple plays last night. From your work with the post players, where is she defensively in terms of taking the next step so she's able to see more minutes?
You know, I think she's getting better every day. She go against Bree and Katera every day, and that's, you know, two seniors that know what we're doing. And when she's going against those kids, you know, we're correcting and trying to teach her. I just think it's repetition. Even after the game, when she came out of the game last night, she came and asked me, Coach, what did I do wrong, and which way were my feet, and how did she beat me that easy? So she's a kid that's hungry to learn. She understands her role. Her role right now is to make those kids better, and she do that every day, and in making them better, she's getting better. So I think she's understanding her role, but she works at it. She comes in and watch film. So I think even though now she's ready, she wants to go out and play, I think she's really preparing herself for the future.
Have you had many freshmen actually ask you a question like that when they get taken out, and instead of going down the end of the bench and sulking while they got taken out?
No, usually I have to call them back down, even the seniors. So, I mean, that is different. But, you know, I told Coach Schaefer last night, she came and asked, and she does it all the time.
Coach, you mentioned about the potential for the team. Obviously, Roe had the setback with the injury to kind of take her out of the rotation. Not to lay it all on one person's shoulders, because I know it's 13, 14 players, but getting her piece back to where she was, like Coach Harris said, so early, she played so well. How much is that kind of the X factor, dare I call it that, about elevating this team up to the next level?
And I think it's important. You know, I think I'm encouraged right now by her mobility. That's the first piece we had to get back, and so she's getting that piece back, and I think she's happy about that. She's getting that quickness back in her steps. So defensively, last night I thought she took a charge. She didn't get credit for it, but she really, and that was something that she said going into the game she was going to try to do. So I was proud of her for that. You know, she didn't shoot it well, but you know, I really think that'll come. That kid is talented. We certainly need her in the equation in a big way, and so I think it's important that we get her back, and that's one of the things we talked about today is we've got to, as a staff, we've got to spend the time and get her back and get her ready, because I think she really brings a lot to the table. She's a multi-dimensional player that can do some things for us and do some things to our opponents that's hard to deal with.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Coach.